Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Yellowstone just foreshadowed Kayce's death. Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 may have just foreshadowed the death of Kayce Dutton. Luke Grimes' character was mostly separated from the main conflicts of the Dutton Ranch throughout the show's run. In Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western hit, Kayce's affairs were primarily linked to his own family, Monica and Tate, and his personal woes. That changed, however, in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, after John Dutton unexpectedly died. While Kayce was initially convinced that his father killed himself, conversations with his sister, Beth, eventually changed his mind about how he died. This sets up his multi-episode final arc in Yellowstone. Kayce has been silently working on clearing his father's death case for a couple of episodes now. In Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, he has reached out to former colleagues and tapped into his connections in Montana to make sure that the truth will come out about John's murder in the governor's home. This is an interesting switch with Beth, who has been mainly focused on dealing with what has been going on at the ranch. As entertaining as it is to see him actually being more involved, it could also mean that the end is near for Kayce. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12, Counting Coop, Kayce is at the forefront of the storytelling, although he is operating essentially without the knowledge of people in his inner circle. Before he goes out and seeks the man who set up the hit on John, he is briefly involved in the affairs at home after Colby's freak accident in Yellowstone. One of Rip's most loyal cowboys died after he came to Carter's rescue from an unstable horse. Kayce and Tate help by disposing of the body of the corpse at a makeshift cemetery within the property's borders. Just as they are leaving the area, Tate asks about funeral plans. His dad answers in reference to John's death by confirming that the Dutton patriarch will be buried there next to his mom. However, Tate makes it clear that he is asking about his dad and where Kayce's final resting place will be. John's youngest son, while clearly uncomfortable with the conversation, reveals that he wants to be buried near Tate and Monica, wherever that is. The conversation may seem like a random conversation, but considering all the deaths in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 thus far, it's difficult to not read into it as Kayce's instructions if he ends up dying throughout this ordeal. Sheridan could have focused on John's demise and upcoming funeral, but the shift in their topic to Kayce's future demise, given how young, healthy, and strong he still is when Tate asks about it, is ominous enough. For what it's worth, it isn't difficult to imagine something bad happening to Kayce because of his new purpose. Tate and Kayce's conversation over at the Dutton family ranch's informal cemetery isn't the only thing from Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12, that potentially foreshadows his death. As the father and son walk away back to the house, the camera pans to the tomb of Evelyn Dutton, the family's matriarch who died years before the events of Yellowstone. Through flashbacks, it was revealed that she died after falling from a horse. Understandably, it was a tragic time for the family, but given everything that has happened in the last few years, the show hasn't revisited her existence until Counting Coop. While the setting of Kayce and Tate's conversation naturally allows for Evelyn's tomb to be featured, Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 lingering on it could be a foreshadowing of another Dutton tragedy in the making. The character has never really been fleshed out in the show because she was already gone when the series started, but based on the flashbacks and what's known about her, Evelyn had a special connection to Kayce. Seeing her tomb may be a reminder that sooner rather than later, they can be reunited in afterlife. Given Kayce's complicated relationship with his dad, he typically stays out of the way when it comes to family drama. He wasn't even involved in the intense war between Jamie and Beth, as he was able to maintain some kind of relationship with his adopted brother. That said, John's murder has really pushed him down a path of revenge that he may never be able to come back from again. Granted his training, knowledge, and capabilities, he is able to carry out this dangerous mission to get retribution for his father's demise. That being said, it also comes with risks, especially since he's operating mainly on his own. While Beth deals with Jamie, even though he wasn't really part of the planning of John's killing, Kayce is dealing with far more dangerous people. Hired goons backed up by clearly rich people who were bold enough to order a hit on the governor of Montana. At this point, it seems like Kayce is so committed to his cause that he really does not care if it means sacrificing his life, as long as he knows he can get justice for his dad's murder. There has been no shortage of Dutton family tragedy in the last few years of Yellowstone. Kevin Costner's exit before the show is finished leads to Sheridan killing the character, which is arguably still the biggest loss in the show, considering how much it affected the rest of the family's fates. Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2's flashbacks show what life could have been like if John lived. Because Yellowstone never shies away from a big death, and it was able to pull off its most significant one quite impressively, it is within the realm of possibility that Kayce will see his end when Yellowstone wraps up. In terms of the narrative, it gives the show the final emotional punch, since he is leaving a wife and a son who adore him. Losing Kayce will also make Beth and Jamie's upcoming face-off so much more intense. In the sprawling, untamed landscape of Yellowstone, the Dutton family's saga is filled with triumphs, betrayals, and heartbreak. Yet in the latest season, a subtle but powerful symbol emerges: Evelyn Dutton's tombstone. Its presence serves as a poignant reminder of the past, but more significantly, it casts a long shadow over Kayce Dutton, underscoring his importance within the family's legacy. Evelyn Dutton, the matriarch whose life was cut tragically short, has always been a figure of both love and trauma for her children, especially Kayce. Her death, a defining moment in the Dutton family history, left scars that continue to shape their relationships and decisions. While John Dutton often bears the burden of leadership, it is Kayce who inherits the emotional weight of his mother's loss. The focus on Evelyn's tomb in recent episodes is not a mere backdrop, but a narrative device, illuminating Kayce's journey through grief, duty, and identity. The scene of Evelyn's death, forever etched in Kayce's memory, is a source of deep guilt and sorrow. Kayce, who was present during the tragic accident, carries the trauma of being unable to save his mother. This unresolved anguish becomes a driving force behind many of his actions: his protectiveness toward his family, his moral struggles, and his complex relationship with his father, John. By revisiting her tomb, the show reconnects Kayce with his emotional core, reminding viewers that his pain is not just a subplot, but central to his character development. Evelyn's absence is also felt in Kayce's approach to fatherhood. His fierce love for his son Tate is a direct reflection of the love he lost with his mother. The parallels between Kayce's upbringing and his own parenting style are stark. Unlike John, whose leadership often overshadows his tenderness, Kayce leads with his heart, even when it puts him at odds with his family's ambitions. Evelyn's memory becomes a compass for Kayce, guiding him through the moral labyrinth of the Dutton family's conflicts.